Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Back from the Grid podcast. My name is Cody, and I am here to say hi to all of you wonderful people out there. Matthew is also here. How you doing, Matthew?
I'm doing fantastical.
That's amazing.
It is great.
Episode 17.
It is. We are on the 17th episode, everybody. This is doing absolutely great. Thank you guys for the awesome support. And we made it into December. Cody, do you think we'd made it this far?
I literally thought that the world would be over by now. Guys,
we're not dead yet, everybody, so that's the good part.
I'm going to say it, even though I'm not technically quite there. I will be tomorrow. We're college graduates now, guys. We are college graduates. I'm effectively there. There's no way I couldn't possibly graduate after tomorrow, but I still have to go do one more tiny little test. But it's nothing, so we'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, Matthew, we're here. We've been dilly-dallying, and it is a lot later than usual. But
we're gonna. I blame Cody.
It's all my fault. We're gonna power through, and we're gonna make this awesome podcast for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy. By the way, we haven't really talked about this for a while, but we would like to tell you guys all the different locations that we are on in case something happens to one of the locations at YouTube that, hosts our show. So we are on YouTube, as I mentioned. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Google Music.
We are on Google Music and Google Podcast.
And Spotify.
We are on a couple more platforms that we'll go ahead and list into the description below if you want to give us a listen.
If you're on YouTube.
So if you're on YouTube and you want to run away as fast as you can, I wouldn't hold that to you.
Exactly.
I would totally run away too if I were you.
Also, this podcast is for all ages. Let me say that one more time. This podcast is for all ages.
We talk about stuff that is not entirely for adults, but it's for general audiences
all
above
ages.
The age of 13, preferably.
Yes. Yeah. If you're listening to this podcast, you better be above the age of 13. So help me.
As long as you're watching on YouTube.
I will go all Copa on your rear end. Okay.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
It's so sad we have to talk about this.
Well, hopefully in the future when people listen to this, they're like, what the heck is Copa? What's YouTube?
What's YouTube about?
Now, let's, hey, Matthew.
What have you been doing? What have I been doing? What's going on in the world? I don't even know.
Hey, it's a good question. I've been playing Beat Saber.
Of course.
A lot.
How many hours do you have now?
Not
scared
too
to
much.
ask.
It's probably like 12 or something, which is a lot because I haven't been playing Beat Saber on my own very much.
Yeah, but you have to take into consideration that you also have been playing the game for less than a week now by yourself, and the fact that you're already getting you're getting more than 12 hours in less than 2 weeks lifespan is pretty.
It's
during finals.
It's a problem.
So he's got his priorities straight.
Hey,
fight me.
Okay, I'm going to say something controversial. And I know we don't do that very much on the podcast, but I'm going to say it. Finals are not hard for me. I've never had an issue with finals. Finals are always the easiest part for me because you literally take everything you learned and then slap it onto a piece of paper.
And then you're done.
But I get it why it's hard for other people, but it's never been hard for me. So finals are like just sort of float through them for me. But anyway... Hey, Matthew, what have you been playing? What have you been doing?
Well,
what's new in your world?
Before we started the podcast, I just got done telling him that I beat the main story of Spider-Man on PlayStation 4.
Guys, that's one of the reasons we're starting so late is because you couldn't stop talking about Spider-Man.
10 minutes just on Spider-Man alone because I beat it.
Minutes.
It's the one game that I actually collected all the collectibles.
Oh, I thought you were still working on it.
No, I collected all 55 collectibles.
Okay.
I literally... Well, one, it gave you incentive because each collectible showed a backstory of Spider-Man's history. And they were like really cool. Like one was like a piece of Rhino's horn.
Didn't they also unlock the new suits or something?
Yeah, they unlocked a specific suit from, I think it was not far away from home. It was Homecoming. Oh. It's the homemade spider suit you unlock when you collect all 55 collectibles.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, I beat it. I'm going to 100% the main story, and then I'm going to move over to the DLC. Because this is the one game I will actually 100%. That's what my plan is.
Okay, cool.
I'm very
During
excited.
finals week, Matthew.
Oh, man. I'm in the same boat as you are. But
Matthew's done. Matthew's done, guys.
I'm actually done, so
he
I
took
can
his last
do
test
that.
yesterday. Or today.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Well, actually, it was 2 days from now because you'll be listening to this on Friday.
Yesterday while we're recording this, which we record on Thursdays, if you guys didn't know. Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Hey, Matthew, guess what?
What?
Guess what is in 80 days?
I don't know. What is in 80 days?
Around the world in 80 days. But also, Mountain Blade Bannerlord comes out on early access on Steam in 80 days, guys. 80 days. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I hope it's going to be awesome. And I look
scaring
forward.
me just listening to that.
I'm just so worried. They've been working on it for so long, and I really hope that it is what it needs to be.
Hey.
We shall see.
Hey. You know what also got in it? You know what also is going to come out?
What?
Half-Life 3.
No, it's
finally.
not. It's like Half-Life.
Leave me alone.
It's like Half-Life 2.5, okay?
Hey, you know what? The developers said that people should play Half-Life 2, including the episodes, because of the fact that it may have something related to that. So I'm over here just like, so is it like Half-Life, blah, blah, blah. Actually, we're lying, kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm scared.
Once they do that with, dude, if they made a Portal 3 VR game, oh my goodness.
Oh, wait, it could be like budget cuts with a Portal mechanic in that.
I'm down.
Oh,
I am
shoot.
so down.
I
would
would so
play the
be down
crap
for
out
that.
of a VR Portal game. That would be awesome.
So, but anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the most exciting segment. The segment everybody comes to this podcast for, other than that. Not really. This is just a joke. We're going to go ahead and talk about what
That was
makes
a funny
us...
joke, Matthew. That was a hilarious joke.
Hilarious jokes.
He's a jokester right here,
my
guys.
Gosh. Oh my God.
Nostalgia. What are we talking about?
We're going to be talking about our first favorite movie we've ever watched.
Ooh.
So, Cody, what was your first favorite movie you have ever watched? What was that movie that you were young and you're like, I love this. This is great. This is great. You're over here. What was that meme for YouTube 2018 where the guy's like, oh, that's hot. That's hot. If I could control YouTube Rewind, I'd have it suck.
I don't know. I've seen
What was
a lot
Will
of
Smith?
memes.
Will Smith, that meme where he's like, oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Okay. I don't know, man.
He doesn't know the memes.
Okay, just so you guys know, I share memes on Facebook every day, and I've been doing it for the past 3 years.
How do you not know about that? That was like,
because I've shared like a million memes. All right.
Wasn't one of your memes have that where it's like
Possibly.
Will Smith where he's like, ah,
Dude, I've shared so many memes that I don't even know what I've shared.
he looks through
for
the
real.
thing and he's just like, that's hot. That's hot.
You're just gonna have to pull it up and show me because I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyways, my first favorite movie that I watched is a movie that I vaguely remember being super into, but like I just remember being told that it was my favorite movie from my mother, and it was the original Lion King.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, like I used to love that movie, but there's not much I can talk about it because it was apparently my favorite, but I don't really remember it. But I will say one of the movies that I really loved, which is in the Lion King universe, was The Lion King 1.5, and it was just this really weird movie that was amazing when I was growing up because there was almost nothing like it. It was basically Deadpool but Disney. If you want to see Disney's Deadpool, look up The Lion King 1.5. It takes the characters in the movie, Simone and Pumbaa, and they basically do like a commentary over the entire first movie. And there's scenes with them like sitting in a movie theater, and you can see the shadows of them with like the movie in the background. And there's gags and there's hijinks and there's like games you could play way back when and on the DVDs.
Oh, the roller coaster was my favorite.
There was just
And the game show.
so much. It was amazing, and that was like my favorite thing as a kid because it took me a while to actually have video games like available to me. So having that was really fun, and I loved it. That was a good movie. But Matthew, what was your favorite first movie that you have watched?
Tron Legacy
You just
specifically.
had that. I feel like you've said this before, but why?
I still, it's not my favorite movie anymore, but growing up, I watched it in theaters when it came out, I believe 2012. was when it came out. 2012 or 2011. And I remember going to the movie theaters and watching it. My mother and father went to go watch it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching it and just being like, whoa. It was such a cool experience. I mean, it didn't really age well. I'll admit that. But as a kid going to go watch it, it was so cool to see it. And it was Daft Punk scored the whole album and the soundtrack for it, which immediately gets 10 points because it was the perfect soundtrack for that kind of movie. And then they made a cameo appearance in this club scene where Daft Punk's the DJs. And it was, it had a lot of great fight scenes. The special effects were amazing with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, I'm going to say, the de-aging was, for one character, wasn't particularly the best. It was kind of creepy looking. But it was a really good film. I wish it was a little bit better nowadays as an adult. But as a kid, I ended up going into that film like awe-struck by just how good some of the effects were. And was like, oh, this is so cool. I wish I could be like this. And now we got VR, so now I'm over here just like, we need a Tron game. I really wish that they would make another Tron Legacy movie or another Tron movie or remake or whatever. But apparently Disney was like over here like, no, Tomorrowland didn't do so hot, so we're just not going to make another Tron movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the original guy who played Flynn from the original was like, screw you, Disney. I'm not making one even if you offer. So he's like, I'm done with Disney.
He didn't get fired. He quit.
Yeah, he was like, you know what, screw you. If you don't want to do another one, I'm just not going to do one even if you want to. So I'm over here like, oh, no.
Hey, well, we're going into filmmaking and TV. Maybe you could make a new Tron movie.
Just get Fox to do it because Disney apparently can't.
Fox is owned by Disney.
Yeah, just give it off to Fox.
Just give it one of their subsidiaries.
Yeah, just make Fox do it at this point because honestly, Disney obviously doesn't care about that IP.
Yeah. I will also say another movie that came to mind, and this isn't for the memes, guys. This has been a movie that's been memed like to no end, but it's actually a really well-made movie.
Wait, can I take a shot?
You probably know what it is.
Is it Kung Fu Panda?
Okay, well that one too. I love the Kung Fu Panda series. Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2. The third one it's okay. It's all right. It's up there. It's pretty good, but the first two are really good. But no, the one I'm talking about, because Kung Fu Panda I feel like was more my teen years that I watched it. It wasn't really I wasn't really a child at that point.
We're all children at some point.
Well, yeah, at some point. But one of the ones that I watched as a kid that really stuck with me, besides The Lion King, the one that I can really remember was not for the memes, but it was Shrek. The original. Okay.
Oh boy.
The actual movie though was so well made. Like, and I watched a video about this recently on YouTube. Somebody cutting down or breaking down the music for that video for that movie. And they used a good example as to the differences of using pop music as your soundtrack. And they showed Suicide Squad and how they used the pop music versus how Shrek used it. And Shrek, I can't go into like the whole movie, but the way that they made that movie and put it together was they made so much detail in that movie that you don't even realize until someone points it out to you. And the movie itself is a masterpiece of filmmaking.
They'll never make another movie like that.
And the greatest thing about that movie was that it was just a big middle finger to Disney. The guy, he worked at Disney, and then Disney they had a falling out, and then he made this movie specifically as a big middle finger to Disney, and I love it. It's a great movie. And if you've just seen the memes, you've never seen the original movie, go watch it. It's a great movie. But anyways, so yeah, that's some movies that we watched, that are some favorites from childhood and stuff. Let us know what you guys think on our social media pages. Facebook, Back from the Grid podcast. Twitch and Twitter is Back from the Grid. Let us know, and we'd like to hear from you guys. So moving on, we're going to talk about some gaming news. Now, Matthew's been talking about this to me like forever, and he is
I'm on this so bad.
Super excited. So Matthew, get on your soapbox, take it out, spiff it off.
Oh my God, I saw this.
Go for it.
And immediately I was like, yes! 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 Resident Evil 3 confirmed. The remake's coming out. Resident Evil 3 remake is coming out next year. I believe it was April 2020. Oh my God, April is going to be filled with games. We got, what was it? I believe next year we're getting the new Half-Life game. We're going to be getting this. We've got freaking
Mountain Blade Bannerlord.
Bannerlord. My wallet's crying just thinking about next year. It's like 2019 was meh. Next year, it's going to be like Shaggy memes are going to be making a resurgence because that's just how powerful 2020
It'll be
is
Baby
going to
Yoda
be.
memes.
Oh my God. Anyway, Resident Evil 3 got announced at PlayStation's State of Play event. Yes, live stream last night, or it won't be last night, but a couple nights ago. They announced Resident Evil 3 as... Oh my gosh, Cody's over here just like...
Hey.
Fight me.
This
anyway.
is library.
Oh my God. Anyway, basically, Resident Evil 3 got announced last night at PlayStation's State of Play live stream over on YouTube and Twitch. It was really awesome to see this because it was super unexpected to have them talk about Resident Evil 3 this early on after like less than a year of Resident Evil 2's release, which was really weird. Apparently, people are saying that Resident Evil 3 started development at the very tail end of Resident Evil 2 or after it went gold. So they have been working on this for not very much long. But, I mean, Resident Evil 3 used, the original at least, reused a bunch of assets from Resident Evil 2, and it was a little bit more of a shorter game. It focused more on the actual character, the kind of antagonist of the game being Nemesis, which is basically this gigantic guy that says stars and chases you throughout the entire game. And he will show up unexpectedly, and he has a rocket launcher.
Just has that.
He just has a rocket launcher.
Just has a rocket launcher.
He's basically like the Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, but he's way more intimidating because Mr. X you can outrun and then he just doesn't show up. In Resident Evil 2, the remake, they made him even more scarier because there's segments in the game where he will proceed to follow you for long chunks of the game. And it's terrifying because when he shows up, things get terrifying because all gloves are off. You can't kill him during certain segments.
Fecal matter hits the spinny blade machine.
Crap hits the fan.
Yep. Took you a second.
Did I say...
Huh?
Did I say something?
No.
Did I stutter?
Did I even stutter?
Did I even stutter? Okay. Anyway, but yeah, it's going to be exciting to basically be chased by this gigantic brute of a guy in the entire game. I'm super scared to actually confront him in the game. But the developers had made it very clear that it is going to be more faithful to 3, which has a couple of fans worried because 3 was a little bit more action-oriented. They actually gave you an assault rifle in the original, so it focused more on gunplay, but the gameplay looks more in line with Resident Evil 2's style gameplay and gunplay. So it'll be exciting to see that. Also, apparently, they'll also be packaging in Project Resistance, which is going to be a 4-player co-op game versus one kind of like dungeon keeper kind of guy where he customized this. Basically, you have to get to the end of a linear level in a certain amount of time before the time expires or you lose. Now, with this game, there's a 5th player that kind of like is like the dungeon keeper. He basically controls the game and where enemies spawn in. So you can set traps, you can set monsters, and you can also spawn in Mr. X.
Does he do that from like a
computer
top-down view?
No, it's on security camera feeds.
Oh.
So yeah.
That sounds pretty fun. I love games that have one person like
I'm a little bit worried.
All of the things,
because usually games like that die off quickly. Examples being Evolve and Friday the 13th. And I'm really worried about the new Aliens game, the new Predator game, which, by the way, new gameplay details of the new Predator game got announced, which is going to be also a 1v4 style game where basically 4 hunters are going to be going against a predator, and you have to, the predator's a predator. You have different classes you can select from. There's also going to be a single player campaign for people that don't like to play with friends. Cody.
Hey.
Oh my God. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. We got a lot of cool stuff announced this last week, and the Game Awards will probably be happening this week. So we'll even get more news, hopefully.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So Cody,
now, I want to add to what you were saying there. I really like the games where it's 1v a lot of people, if they're done right. And I get what you're saying. A lot of times they don't last very long, and I mean it's understandable. But however, I would say that they while they don't last very long, they do burn pretty bright. Like a lot of times those games can have huge popularity for a short amount of time, relatively speaking, but they can still be really fun and really enjoyable for the people who play them.
yeah.
I think maybe.
So that'll be exciting to see that in the future. I'm down for it. Resident Evil, I saw the gameplay of Resident Evil Project Resistance, and I'm not really excited for it because it, once again, looks a little bit more action-oriented, which I'm worried for them to go even near that direction because last time we went in that direction, we got Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
And
you want survival horror, not
I want
Call of
Resident
Duty
Evil
zombies.
7. I want Resident Evil 2, the remake style gameplay where it's more linear, but well, not extremely linear like Resident Evil 6 was, but it was focused more on you going around a kind of set experience, and I'm just gonna freaking strangle you.
What?
Oh my god.
I'm trying to help. All right.
You're not helping at all.
Hey, fight me. Okay,
Fight me.
so I'm actually going to talk about something that is not gaming news or entertainment news. This is more of a nerd news story. So my news story is talking about how NASA has unveiled their new rocket that they've designed and are going to build and use, which they've termed as the most powerful rocket ever built.
NASA or
NASA.
SpaceX? Oh,
NASA. Yeah, that's what I thought too. At first, I thought it was SpaceX.
NASA
but
still makes stuff?
Yeah, NASA's getting back into the rocket game.
Oh.
Yeah, this news just dropped not too long ago. It was 2 days ago, and I'm looking at the Engadget article here, written by Georgina Torbett. Good job, Georgina. And so, yeah, NASA has been developing a new space launch system which is aimed to carry astronauts to the moon in 2024. Now, originally, the first manned launch of this was supposed to be next year. However, they have had some setbacks, and right now they're looking at a 2024 launch for going to the moon, but I think it's 2021 for their first test is aimed at 2021, yeah. And it's called, Artemis Mission to the Moon. So the idea for this new rocket is to carry astronauts to the moon, to the area of the moon that has water on it, because water was discovered on the moon, and they're going to set up basically a moon base for and create fuel from the water there in order to propel us to Mars. So it's really cool, and I'm also really excited that NASA's finally getting back into the spaceship game. While I think they're behind, like I feel like SpaceX's reusable rockets are probably going to be more of the future. I am really glad that NASA is finally getting back into having their own rockets. That way we don't have nothing against the Russian people, but that way we don't have to rely on foreign countries in order to launch our rockets into the space. And I know I don't like relying on corporations either for different reasons personally, but however we get to space, it's really freaking cool. Also, people have not been to the moon for like 50, 60 something. I'm probably getting that off, but years, like many, many years, probably twice or three times my lifespan, we have not been to the moon. So this is really cool, and it's a story that I'm going to be following closely, and there's a lot of awesome stuff happening in space travel, and I really just wanted to talk about it. There's the James Webb Telescope, which is supposed to be like, it's the largest telescope we've ever launched into space, and it's going to be a space telescope, so there's not going to be any interference in the atmosphere, and we're going to be able to get really high-definition pictures of far-away solar systems and stars, and maybe even find new planets, and possibly find life. That's also, dude, it's really cool. There's also a mission that is set to go to Europa. I don't know exactly when, maybe 2025. It's still in the future, but we're getting there. We're about to change into a new decade. And if there's anywhere in our solar system that has life, it is either Saturn's moon of Titan, which there's also a mission planned to go there at some point, but Jupiter's moon of Europa, because there's supposed to be an underwater ocean on Europa, and there could be life there, guys. It's really cool.
Think that it would be a good idea to go to those kind of places?
Absolutely.
Because, well, here's what I'm worried about is we go there and we find something that's probably not friendly.
Okay.
Like, I'm talking bacteria and stuff. I'm not talking about, like, alien...
Well, they wouldn't come back. If we send it's going to be a probe. There's not going to be manned missions to Europa or Titan. They're going to send a probe that can drill into the ice and the crust of the planet, or I guess they're moons, and just like try to see if there's actual alien life. Because if we can prove that there's alien life that exists, then that opens up a huge new area of space and even this theories about space and how it all works, how it fits together, and how we can benefit from it. I just think it's really cool, guys. I love astronomy and space travel and stuff, and so dialing it back so we don't go off onto a 50-minute tangent about space travel and aliens. We can save that for another specialized podcast, because I'm sure me and Matthew could talk about that for days and days. But yeah, NASA has built, or has the plans to build, a new rocket. This is a NASA rocket. It's not a corporation rocket. It's not a foreign nation rocket. It'll be our rocket that we launch. It's really cool. I love it. Also, for all of you, all of our awesome foreign viewers, we love you guys. And
no judging.
Yeah, sorry, we're Americans, so we can be a little self-centered sometimes. Anyways.
We're very good at that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my story. What do you think, Matthew? Have any thoughts about that?
Jeez. I'm joking. I'm excited for going through and seeing what we can do in the future with Elon Musk, SpaceX, and NASA working together. I believe they're working on a couple of things. That will be definitely exciting. Definitely exciting. Jesus, I can't speak today. Anyway, it'll be definitely... Oh my God, I'm going to throw something at you. Everybody, he's just going like, you need to be blah, 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 blah.
All right, guys, for those who don't know, I'm going to say this real quick.
Oh my God.
Me and Matthew were on a team for a TV broadcast news production contest way back when in the day. And we had this hand signal, because Matthew was one of the anchors. We had this hand signal to use whenever he needed to like talk louder and project more instead of getting really quiet and talking like this, guys, and about things. And so I've been giving him that hand signal. He's just getting pissed off about it. I'm just trying to help, Matthew.
Oh my God.
Just trying to help. All right.
Unacceptable.
So, anyway, Matthew, what's our next segment?
We're going to go ahead and get into the next segment here. It is going to be the Versus segment. And then we've got an interesting Versus segment that I will probably lose no matter what. So before we talk about how and when I'm going to lose,
I think you've got a
let's
good
go
chance
ahead
this time.
and talk about how much I lost from the last one.
So, guys, if you don't know, last time we talked about we versus two villains. We both randomly selected two villains, and actually the poll is still available.
Oh, hey, we got a helicopter coming through here.
I think that's a plane. I'm not sure, but yeah, we got some air traffic coming through here. Anyways, so we were talking about villains, and we both chose like any villains from video games, and I chose not video games, but from media. I chose All For One, and Matthew chose Ganondorf, and there are 2 votes.
Hey, you want to know who won?
Come on, I know you're busy with the holidays, but. So there's 2 votes, and there's both. They're both for one choice, and I wonder who, Matthew. Who
I wonder who did win.
Who? I don't know who. Let's find out. Matthew, why don't you tell the viewers?
I don't want to say anything. I'm just gonna let you say
All
it.
For One has defeated Ganondorf in the Versus segment, guys. Thank you for your honest votes.
Yeah, they're
and
honest.
I appreciate.
They're 100% honest. You know what?
I appreciate all the support, guys, for my choices. Although, okay, I will say this time Matthew has a chance at this.
No, he doesn't.
I still think that my character could win, but
I'm starting to think. You know what? I'm saying it right now. I'm pretty sure Cody has the stage. How much is he paying all of you?
Hey,
I want to know.
Don't tell him. All right. So. This time, this Versus segment, we've decided to choose any cartoon character versus any other. And we both chose, we told each other before the show so that we would know that we could actually discuss it. Matthew, who did you choose? And why?
I went ahead and chose Ben 10 from the Cartoon Network show Ben 10 Omniverse. that specific one. Because, for one major region, I can't speak today. Good Lord. I'm just going to, you know what? I can't, I'm not good enough for you guys. I'm just going to go. Bye.
So that's the end of our podcast today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Matthew has left the building. And so, yeah, we were going to discuss Ben 10 versus Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob. And honestly, I think Sandy Cheeks could wipe the floor with that little guy. And Matthew has returned. Sandy Cheeks is a karate master, and she's also a technical genius. I imagine that she could probably hack into the Omnitrix if she had the chance. And so Sandy Cheeks would win because she is awesome.
Yeah, but when we usually bring up these fights, these are with no pre-planning. They get thrown into an arena last minute, and with no knowledge of what that character is or what they do. So, with that being said, Ben 10 would win because all he would need to do is, if the squirrel tried attacking him, he need to do
the squirrel in a metal suit. Thank you.
All that he would need to do is just pull up the Omnitrix and choose from the several dozen aliens he has. And if he really wanted to go completely just eradicate her from the face of the planet, all you need to do was pick Alien X.
Oh, why is that?
Because Alien X literally has control of all life and matter in the universe.
Okay, but Alien X has a very big weakness, which you told me about before we started this discussion. So what is that?
He basically, in his mind, has to fight between two cosmic entities that are part of Alien X. And, oh my god, I'm going to throw something at you. I'm projecting! Here, do you like my projecting?
That's much better, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyway, basically, he has to fight between two cosmic entities that are in his mind.
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm just having a great time here.
Oh my god.
You're just getting so quiet. All right, guys, we're tired. We're exhausted.
Oh, yeah, we just got done with finals. But anyway, basically he has to fight between two cosmic entities in his brain to get them to cooperate. And if he doesn't, he just kind of stands there like somebody, like a deer in the headlights kind of situation. So he does have a weakness for that.
At which point, Sandy Cheeks would just cut him in half with one slice of her karate chop.
All he would need to do is say, "Hey, you idiots, we're going to die if you don't."
Have you seen how many Krabby Patties that Sandy Cheeks can make with just karate? Infinite. She can cover the whole seafloor with Krabby Patties with like one chop.
Yeah, and then all he would need to do is once he gets the two cosmic...
Yeah, but he has to get them to agree.
All he would have to say is, "Hey, idiots, do you want to die?" "No? Okay, then. Let's go ahead and just wipe her off the floor."
Because that's how you logically...
That's one of the examples of how he got him to work.
With cosmic beings.
Literally that
are basically like an old married couple.
Pretty much.
If I remember the cartoon correctly. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's accurate. They basically argue like an old married couple that don't want to work together. And then all you have to do is say, "Hey, idiots, you're going to die if you don't work together." And then that'll get them the motivation to work because they're like, "Oh, crap. I guess we do have to do something." And then they're like, "Fine, we'll relinquish control."
Well, if Sandy Cheeks had to, she could go into beast mode, as we've seen.
Oh, no.
And she could imagine Alien X as Dirty Dan. And then there would be no stopping her.
"I'm Dirty Dan."
"No, I'm Dirty Dan."
"No, I'm Dirty Dan."
But yeah, so that's our versus segment for this week. I do believe that Sandy Cheeks would wipe the floor with Ben 10, but that is for you guys to decide. So go and let us know on our social media pages at Back from the Grid Podcast on Facebook, and then Back from the Grid from Twitter and Twitch. So Matthew. Yeah.
So
I think you have something that you're gonna want to talk about.
So let's go ahead and
with
move
a very
into,
well projected voice.
Oh my god. Let's move into the best segment of the day. My segment, my baby. It is going to be the...
Hang on, I'm not ready.
Oh my god. How do you not have this ready at this point?
Because I was too busy laughing that.
Look how much I'm projecting. Are you proud of me?
Yeah, you know how you see all those quiet parts?
Oh,
that was
yeah.
right before I did this. All right, here it is.
Why does it sound like a jet?
That's your computer.
LPIAY.
Wait, what? Yeah,
that is not my computer.
That is your computer. That's your laptop.
LPIAY.
LPIAY.
That's saying it differently. That's
what?
saying it differently. Hold on.
LPIAY.
It is.
That's saying it differently.
No.
Guys, what happened? Google changed their Google Translate program. Now it's saying it. What?
LPI.
LPIAY.
LPIAY.
LPIAY. They're listening to our podcast and they're screwing with me. Dang it, Google. Stop listening to me all the time.
LPIAY.
Let me try this other one.
LPIAY.
It's different.
Oh.
LPIAY.
They changed it.
It's faster.
Oh my gosh. Guys.
Google ruins everything.
They ruined
everything. You know what?
everything.
Nope, we can't host this segment anymore.
He's walking out again. All right, so last week we asked you what video game / movie disappointed you the most. Now, I don't do this segment, so I have no idea who responded, but, Matthew has returned. Okay, so he can do this.
That's the second time I've had to walk out during this.
I mean, that you don't have to, but,
Unacceptable.
You've just chosen to.
I'm like Joaquin Phoenix.
Why are you like Joaquin Phoenix?
I walk out during the set. Walk out off set during recordings.
Oh, okay.
Screw this. I'm going to just walk off set.
All
anyway.
right.
So, last week we asked you guys what video game / movie disappointed you the most. And unfortunately, and also sadly, not shocking, nobody responded.
Hey, that's okay. You guys can respond next week.
So, Cody,
yes.
What video game / movie disappointed you the most?
Oh boy, what video game / movie has disappointed me the most? That's a really interesting question, which I have all the answers for. But why don't you go ahead and say your answers first, Matthew?
Okay, so if
with
we're talking,
lot of projection.
Okay. Screw you, buddy. Screw you. I'm gonna tell you you're number one.
Thank you. Continue.
Anyway, so a movie and or video game that disappointed me the most. So I feel like it would come down to two things actually. Number one, probably hands down, has to be Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Wow. Are you just doing that for the memes?
No, I'm not doing that for the memes. I'm disappointed because of the fact that it proved the fact J.J. Abrams and what was him? Ray Johnson?
Maybe. I know who you're talking about. Ryan something?
Ryan Johnson? Yeah, I think it was what his name was. They have two different viewpoints of where they were wanting to take the story with this new kind of generation of Star Wars. And they had a lot of threads that J.J. Abrams wanted to do that Ryan Johnson just completely just tossed it into the trash can. Mm-hmm. The Knights of Ren, the whole who is Rey's parents thing, the whole storyline, the casino scene with Last Jedi, Skywalker himself, Luke was just that rubbed me wrong. Mm-hmm. That was terrible. Mm-hmm. I hated that probably the most because even Luke himself, Mark Hamill, was like, this is not how Luke would do. He'd find some way. Mark
Hamill eventually said this is how it is and I'm okay with it, and I think
that's because he just doesn't care at this point. Ryan Johnson, in JJ, he talks to him as this is how I imagine him being, and they just kind of just how they do it with what was his name? Lucas. Mm-hmm. Lucas will be like, this is how we would do it, and then they'd be like, okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, no, that would be probably number one on my list. I mean, originally watching it, I was like, okay, this was fine, and then it took me a minute. I feel like it had the same issues as the Phantom Menace, because you're going into it, it's like, it's Star Wars, Star Wars, heck yeah, it's gonna be Star Wars, it's gonna be great. And then you watch it, and then you're trying to register it. It's it's not bad. It's just you need to watch it again to really appreciate it. And then you watch it again. Then you watch it a third time. Then you watch it a fourth time. And then you kind of get the Phantom Menacing kind of effect where it's you don't want it to suck, and your mind's immediately made up the mind of it's good. You could never think of it being bad. And then you finally come to the conclusion, the kind of revelation of, oh no, it's bad. It's not a good film.
All right, I'm gonna be controversial here. I liked it.
I mean, I'm not saying, it's downright terrible
I thought
film.
it was a great way of making a film. I think that it could have been better. Absolutely. Absolutely could have been better. But I like how they didn't just stick to what you would expect. I enjoyed how it was so different from what I thought it was going to be. Now, I will agree. I think that it was not as good as it should have been.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good as it should have been, but I don't think it was a bad movie.
I will say you are allowed to be different, but also still do things right. Now, there's difference between doing something different and executing it great, and executing it, and it just not going well. And in my opinion, they did not execute certain things in the film very well. Like with Snoke, I will admit, was probably...
Snoke just died like a little...
You got played up to be this huge new, and you see him earlier into the movies, oh my god, he could literally use the Force, light years away from you, and it'd be super powerful. He can bring you to your knees, just by seeing you.
And then he was just a decrepit old alien in a chair.
How could he not sense the fact that that was going to happen?
Okay, but on the flip side, for that movie... I really enjoyed the scene where Luke stood against all of the walkers and just took all of that because he was a Force projection. I thought that was amazing. And he played to, I want to say Keanu. It's not Keanu Reeves, it's Adam Driver, and he was playing... What's the character's name? I just forgot.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren, that's what it is. That's why I want to say Keanu, but it's Kylo.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
He's Keanu Reeves.
He looks like it. He looks like just a baby Keanu Reeves. Anyway... but yeah, I loved how they played to Kylo Ren's anger and his rage, and he was just so
my God,
going after this character, but then he was a Force projection. It was cool. I love that scene. That was really good.
So yeah.
So there's good parts and there's bad parts, but I understand it could have been better. Should have been better.
It should have been better. So anyway, Cody, let's go ahead and talk about what film or video game disappointed you the most.
So... my story is a little weird, actually, because the first time I watched this movie, I loved it. I loved everything about this movie. I thought it was great. I watched it as a child, so I didn't really know what made a good movie, but the movie itself, without context, was fine. It was a fine movie, and I enjoyed watching it. This movie was called Aragon.
Oh.
So I liked the movie. It was a great movie. As a kid, I loved dragons. I thought it was cool. There was a talking dragon in it. That was all cool. It was cool. Then I read the books, and I almost threw up in my mouth as I read through the book series. And then I was like, "Oh, wait, this is the movie. Oh my god!" And then there was just spewing everywhere, and it was nasty. And that movie is an abomination to the book series. It is an abomination. It is nothing at all like the books, except for the name of the main character and the name of the book and movie. That's the only thing that is similar, and it pissed me off to beyond end what they did to that movie, and they left it open for a sequel. They thought they were gonna get a sequel. they had end credit scenes, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It was so bad.
They thought they were going to get a sequel.
They thought they were going to be the new Lord of the Rings. It was so bad.
And then the money came in and they're like...
No, it didn't come in because they didn't deserve money for that horrific display of... That's not filmmaking.
That's garbage.
I don't know who made... Hold on, I'm going to look this up. I'm going to call them out right now. Oh, no. I'm going to call them out right now.
No, we're not starting a Twitter war.
It's happening. Who made the... Aragon movie? I gotta figure this out right now, guys, because I don't know who did this. It was a 2006 British American action fantasy film directed by Stephen Fangmeyer. Stephen Fangmeyer in his directorial debut. It was his first movie he ever directed.
Cut the guy some slack.
It was written by Peter Buchman. Bookman? B-U-C-H man. All right, both of you, don't make movies anymore. Just stop. Just give up on your dreams.
Sometimes it's not, sometimes it's good to reach for your dreams.
I'm going to look at what else this guy made, Stephen Fangmeyer.
Sometimes, though, you shouldn't try so hard.
I feel like this might have made him, never make another movie. It's
probably
possible.
He's gonna look
It's
it up and he's gonna
possible.
find out that he should probably.
Let's see. What else has Stephen Fangmeyer made?
That's a wonderful name.
Stephen Fangmeyer. He's born in 1960. He's a visual effects supervisor of numerous major feature films. Okay, so he's worked on good movies. Hold on, my screen is loading. But anyways, Stephen Fangmeyer, don't direct anymore because you're not good at it.
Ouch. Alrighty then.
And we lose our one viewer, our one listener, and it
Wow,
happened to be
you're a really
Stephen
terrible
Fangmeyer.
person.
Look. I'm sorry, but that movie it was horrible, because it just
That's horrible.
no it put I don't know how to say this, but it just didn't do the books justice. It did them an injustice. Like, it wasn't even just meh, it was bad. It was bad. So yeah, that's the one that has disappointed me the most. But it was weird because I liked the movie at first as just like a movie as a kid watching it. It was fine, and then I read the books and I wanted to throw up.
Anyway, so that was our answers. Let's go ahead and move on to
I think that's all we've got for today, Matthew. I'm pretty sure because we didn't do that last one, remember?
No, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the next question.
Oh, the next question.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, ignore me. I was getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, you got to let me finish, Cody. Gosh.
I should project more.
So that's the end of the podcast forever.
Yeah. What's
Thank
the next
you guys
question,
so
Matthew?
much. Anyway, next question of... No, you got to do the thing.
Well, Google, I can't do it anymore because Google effed up. Sorry.
Whoopsie.
We can keep that in. It's fine because we're for all ages.
LPIAY.
Guys, that just hurts now. Come on,
Yeah,
Google.
you can't do it anymore.
Dang it, Google.
Or you can just pull the audio clip from
Screwing
the other
everything
one.
up. I'm not doing that much for that. All right, what's the next question?
The next question is, what was your first video game console you have ever played?
Ooh.
So we're going to hopefully get some exciting responses. It's a pretty simple question.
Where can we get those responses, Matthew?
It's going to be on our social media pages at Back From The Grid, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace we're not on because MySpace is only for losers and Lady Gaga. And
we're just like alienating our whole audience here. All the Aragon lovers and all the MySpace users.
The Russians.
Hey, I
Chinese people.
Where'd that come from?
Our podcast for the boat.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
For Hong Kong, yes. Okay, so thanks for no one listening because we scared you all away. And let us know. Back From The Grid podcast on Facebook and Back From The Grid Twitter and Twitch. Matthew.
That's why we have Cody to go ahead and correct it. But anyway, guys, that was our podcast for today. Cody, we had an amazing podcast today.
It was pretty good.
We got some exciting stuff later on. We'll go ahead and let you guys know.
Guys, we got some good stuff in the works.
We're not going to go into it until we're ready.
We're going to talk about
but
details.
We're going to say we got some exciting stuff planned. And stay tuned because we got some exciting stuff related to the podcast.
It's going to be awesome.
Planning.
Literally like the first of the new year.
We're not going to say anything because we don't want to get your guys' hopes up, but we got some pretty cool stuff.
Like, as soon as the new year hits, new stuff's happening.
Yeah, it's new year, new us,
new year, new us, new podcast. It just worked out that way. We didn't plan it out to be like this. Like,
yeah,
it just worked out.
So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for listening. By the way, we're going to go ahead and reiterate this one more time for our YouTube viewers. We are also on other platforms if you guys want to take a listen on there. So we're on anchor.com or anchor.fm. We're on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Radio Public. We're also going to be on Google Podcast and Apple Podcast as well. So we have a crap ton of platforms to listen to us on.
And
go ahead and
we're on Spotify.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Okay. I wanted to say that too.
Yeah, just to reiterate, we're also on Spotify. If you find it to be kind of annoying to listen to us on YouTube, and if you want to listen to it while you're doing something in the background, like driving or, on lawnmower or whatever you do.
Those are very specific examples.
Whatever you do, you can give us a listen while you're doing it and just kind of listen and be part of the community. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for the podcast today, and we'll see you on the next exciting episode of Back From The Grid podcast.